Hello, this is Mr. Miles Maths. This is our fourth lesson on solving linear equations. This one's a little bit of a recap of previous lessons, and also we're going to look at some awkward values and how to deal with what we kind of look at awkward values and why we can hopefully make them less awkward than they should be, but why people might be a little bit scared by them. That's the main part of this video. So it's going to encompass the techniques that we've looked at already, but also look at these ones when we get a value that doesn't seem to work nicely. So question one. So these are the same technique that we've used in previous lessons. So you'll have seen questions like this before if you've looked at my other videos on this, which I would strongly recommend you do first before watching this. So remember, we've got our left-hand side, we've got our right-hand side. Solving means find the value of the unknown, find the value of x. We work down the page, equal signs line up, all those things that we had talked about in the technique, which is really important. And whatever we do to one side, we do the same to the other. So I hope you're familiar with all this kind of verse now, and you can follow on quite quickly and get through this. So first thing we're going to do is going to add 7 to both sides to get rid of this minus 7. We're trying to get the x by itself, so we're going to add 7 to both sides. So add 7 to the left and add 7 to the right. I'm going to keep writing the hints in for now. So on the left we'll end up with 2x, minus 7 plus 7 cancels, and on the right we're going to end up with 18 plus 7, which is 25. Now at this stage people say, well, I need to divide by 2 because I'm multiplying by 2. So I need to divide both sides by 2, and that's absolutely right. Then they get a bit mixed up here because 2 doesn't go into 25. 25 is odd. Excuse me. So 2 is not going to go into that. So they panic a little bit and don't know how to answer this question. But there's an easy way around this to make sure we get the right answer. When we divide, all we have to do is write it as a fraction. So if I'm dividing by 2, I just write 25 over 2. Anything I'm dividing by goes on the bottom of a fraction. Anything I'm multiplying by goes on the top. And it's a simple kind of rule to remember, but that should work quite well. And we don't need to change that. It's almost easier than when if you have something like 4x equals 8 and you divide by 4, you have to do a calculation. This is almost easier than that because we're kind of doing this, but we never write 8 over 4. We'd always write the nicer answer of 2. It's more simple. It's a much neater, more useful answer to us. But here, there is no more neater or more useful answer. We could write 12.5 or 12.5, but again, we don't really like decimals that much. Decimals are useful for things like distances or lengths, but when we're solving equations, we don't need to do that. So we can just leave it nice like this. So whichever number we're dividing by 2 in this case, that goes onto the bottom of our fraction. Well, hopefully that makes sense. We don't have to worry about, it doesn't go in exactly. It doesn't matter. We have whole numbers as answers, but we can also get fractions as answers or decimals as answers or really weird answers. That's why the principles are so important. We just keep following the principles, and it doesn't matter that this number isn't divisible by 2. We know we've got to divide by 2. That is the correct thing to do. And we just make sure we do it to the other side, and we know how to do that on the other side. So a couple more questions on this. Like I said, this will be a slightly shorter video. So 19 equals 3x plus 5. So again, whatever I do to one side, I must do the same to the other. Trying to get the x by itself, so let's get rid of this plus 5. Take it to the other side, some people say, but we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. So subtract 5 from the left, 19 minus 5 is 14. Subtract 5 from the right, that's 3x. And again, the right step here is to divide by 3. I've got 3 multiplied by x, so to get rid of that multiplication, I'm going to divide by 3. Again, 3 doesn't go into 14. It doesn't matter. Okay, on the right, when I divide by 3, I'll just be left with x. When I do the left-hand side, I just have to write 14 divided by 3. That's the best I can do. It doesn't go in, so my answer is just not a whole number. It's not an integer value. And then I'll just write my x equals first. Almost easier. I don't actually have to do a calculation. And your calculators, when you get older and you start using calculators more, they will be able to help you deal with any awkward numbers as well. It's the principle that's the most important thing. Why am I dividing by 3? Because it's 3 multiplied by x, and I have to do the inverse operation. That's what dictates what I do, not what is on this side. That just sits there, and I deal with it as I divide by 3. So a couple more like the previous lessons examples. 9x over 2 equals 4. So again, we don't like fractions, so we multiply up. Well, not like fractions when we're solving. We like them when we've got the final answer. But when we're solving, we want to get rid of that division by 2. Over 2 means divided by 2. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2. On the left-hand side, it will just cancel division by 2. So the 9x will just pop out nicely. On the right-hand side, I'll get 4 times 2, which is 8. And again, don't worry, oh, I've got to divide by 9, but I can't do 8 divided by 9. I can't to get a whole number, but there's no reason why I can't do 8 divided by 9. It just won't be a whole number value. So then I can write x equals, and then 8 divided by 9, I try it as 8 over 9, done. Again, better answer than having some sort of decimal here. Again, this is why I prefer fractions. At 0.888 recurring is much uglier. 8 over 9 is nice and simple and neat and whole numbers, top and bottom, which is nicer to look at and use. But again, it doesn't matter at this stage that 9 doesn't go into 8. I'm still going to divide by 9 to get rid of that multiplication by 9. It's just how I deal with that on this side. 2 more questions. Number 4, so 2c over 5 minus 1 equals 2. Still got my left and right hand side. Oops, sorry. So I'm going to get the c term by itself. Here's the c term, 2c over 5, the thing with the c in it. Cx doesn't matter, we treat it in the same way. So I'm going to get rid of this minus 1 by adding 1 to both sides. So add 1 to the left and add 1 to the right. When I add 1 to the left, it cancels the minus 1, the 2c over 5 just remains. When I add 1 to the right, I get 2 plus 1, which is 3. To get rid of that division by 5, we multiply both sides by 5. I'm going quicker through this because there's other example videos of this, so please watch them. If it's too quick, you can always pause it and slow down. If you go back through the other videos, that should help you to speed up this technique. So on the left, I'll just be left with the 2c. Times by 5 cancels with the division by 5. And on the right, I get 3 times 5, which is 15. Again, it doesn't matter now. Dividing by 2, yes, is the right step to get rid of that multiplication by 2. Divide both sides by 2. Doesn't matter that 2 doesn't go into 15. I just write 15 over 2. And the last one, number 5, 7 equals 3g over 4 plus 6. And do try and keep everything nice and neat. It makes things a lot easier to see if things are neat. And again, get the g term. Here's the g term by itself. So get rid of the plus 6. We do that by minusing 6 from both sides. 7 minus 6 is 1. And when I minus 6 from the right, I'm just left with the g term. It looks like this. Get rid of the division by 4. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. Cancel that division by 4. On the left, I get 1 times 4, which is just 4. On the right, multiplying by 4 just gets rid of the division by 4. So the 3g just pops out, clears the fraction. And the last step is to get rid of 3 multiplied by g. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. Doesn't matter what's on the other side. The important thing is the g term and how I'm going to get rid of that 3 in front of it. So divide by 3 on the right, nice and easy, the g pops out. 4 divided by 3 doesn't go in, so I just write 4 over 3, which means 4 divided by 3. And then I'll just reverse it so that I have the g first. That's the end of the lesson. Thank you. If you like the video, if it's helped, please hit the like button, please subscribe and watch plenty more maths videos. There are more techniques coming with my linear equation videos in the next videos. And hopefully this has kind of banished that fear of, oh, it's not a whole number, so I don't know how to deal with it. Just use the rules, follow the principles, and it will all drop out nicely. Thank you. See ya.